Are you familiar with Google Gemini? 90% of the time it's wrong. It gave something about you all with the name Cobra Starship. It told me exactly where you got the name Cobra Starship from. Cobra Starship's name originates from the name of a character from the film Lilo and Stitch. It sources Wikipedia stating that the band founder Gabe Saporta named the band after Cobra Bubbles, a character from his favorite film Lilo and Stitch.
I just did an interview and this dude was like, "Did you see the new Lilo and Stitch?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, I heard you got your name from that." I'm like, "No."
Oh my God.
And I'm like,
God.
I don't even know what Lilo and Stitch is, bro. I'm like 45 years old. I don't know what that is. Like, what is that?
Girls go.
My kids aren't even into that yet. Like, what is that?
Oh, I haven't seen either of them. Yes, I do, but I haven't. They're two movies, right? I don't know if they're based
Disney
off
animated
of
movie, and they've done
But like,
live
what
action.
era? When did it come out?
2003, I think.
Jeez, no, I was in the club at 2003.
Yeah, you. We didn't have time for Lilo and Stitch.
Time. I wouldn't like. It's not even in my.
You should
world
watch
of
it with your kids. They'd love it.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh,
they have other
kids,
people,
your
like-
kids would be into it. Yeah,
have their own
people
shit.
love it. I haven't seen it, but
I love Moana. I know all.
Oh, then they'd love Lilo and Stitch.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Try it.
No, speaking to the point of things being completely wrong with AI is that I Googled my dad and it says Peter Asher is most famously well known for working with the Bee Gees. He's never worked with the Bee Gees ever. I sent a screenshot to my parents. I was like, this is...
Dude, the crazy thing about AI is the confidence in which it says the correct thing.
Yeah.
That's the craziest part. Like, if you ask me something I'm not sure, I'll be like, I think I heard this. Or I think it's just like, it's just like, dude, what are you talking about?
Also, if you go down the rabbit hole of like seeing people that are using it for therapy, it's horrifying.
Ooh, wait.
The responses from AI are so messed up.
Really?
Yeah, like, because people like just even testing saying, like, because there was this therapist who, this is a whole sidetrack, but basically this therapist did their own research and decided to like treat AI as if it was their therapist and asking questions and seeing what AI would respond with. And they said stuff like, "Oh, I hate my parents and I just want my parents to be gone." And AI responded being like, "That's understandable that you want that. And it is better if your parents are gone. You'd be better off without them." And like, basically starts
It's
like,
nuts.
I'm not kidding. He's done a whole study. He's making a book all about interactions with AI and how it works with psychology. And it's very disturbing.
That's crazy. So what does that mean? That the AI was encouraging the kid to do what?
I guess like
To
murder.
eliminate their parents, whatever that's.
Eliminate might be a better term. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That is
take that whatever way you want.
Yeah.
But
Thankfully, Gemini gives sources.
Yeah.
So the source that said that Lilo and Stitch was your favorite movie. It was a real interview.
Yeah,
There
I wanted
was
to-
nowhere about Lilo and Stitch mentioned in the interview because I read it and went bullshit, and then I immediately scrolled through and it's like no.
What interview was it?
Oh, I don't remember. Because Gemini popped it up and I clicked on the source once, did the search thing to type in like Lilo and Stitch, not mentioned once.
the misinformation that's going to be happening. Oof.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I'm still waiting for you to find.
I actually don't get to see Victoria a lot, so I'm actually really excited that she's here doing this interview.
Oh, perfect.
She wasn't supposed to be at this interview. She was supposed to already be in New York.
Yeah, but it
So
worked out.
can we talk about why you're moving to New York? Are you let know?
No.
No? It's kind of a secret. Okay, that one's it.
I'm going there to work with someone that is a well-known person.
Okay.
In New York. So
That's the idobi exclusive. Off to really well-known person you'll see eventually in New York.
yes. Which I'm excited. I mean, I lived.
You have experience with that, so I
Yes,
think it's
and I lived in New York properly for 11 years, so New York is not foreign to me. And kind of was going there since I was a kid. So
Someone asked me that. They're like, why does Victoria do that so much with like celebrities and stuff? I'm like, I think it's probably because she was a celebrity herself. It's like, it's kind of hard to like work with someone. Like, it's hard to wrangle someone that like is in that world unless you've kind of been inside it, right?
sure. I mean, well, I think that you have more insight because you understand what it is to be the artist as well, and but to also like know how to take care of people. Like, I am definitely naturally a caretaker. I enjoy it.
She's 4 dogs. I mean,
Yeah,
dogs.
four
I know,
dogs.
four boys
So,
on, what's worse, the 4 boys on the floor or the 4 dogs?
Four
Who shit their
boys.
pants the most?
I think the tour bus smelled worse than having 4 dogs. So.
For sure.
Yeah. How many guys are on the tour bus?
We had one era where we had our own bus, and that was awesome, where it was just the band. But then
Oh, the band and crew were
majority of the
separated.
time we had like crew and us on the bus. So it was me and like 10 guys on.
Oh my gosh.
It's rough out there.
Yeah. We never did van touring though. So
you're welcome.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
You're not about the van tour life?
Well, I did a lot of van touring in Midtown, and it's really brutal. And when we started Cobras, I basically took our pub deal and just invested it as tour support because we didn't get tour support from Fuel by Ramen. So that was like our tour support, and it was a big gamble, but it worked out. So
yeah, the first tour I did with Cobras was immediately on a bus, which I was so grateful for.
Yeah,
because I remember when I got asked to join, I was like, are we going to be on a van? And then I was so stoked.
I mean, we weren't that old when we started Cobras, but I think we were like all 25, 24.
I was
20. How old were you?
Nate was the youngest, I guess. I was younger.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I was the next youngest.
You're the next youngest. So I was like 26. I think Ron, 25, 24, 23, 22. I think that's how it goes. Everyone.
I had just turned 21 before I went on my first tour.
Oh, really?
Because we had celebrated my 21st birthday
that's pretty
together.
young. You could have roughed it for a little bit, honestly, Victoria.
No, I didn't.
Actually,
it's like you're having back pain yet.
I have a question about you joining Cobra.
Yeah.
Did Gabe just find you on MySpace?
Yeah.
Did I read that correct? See, I never had a MySpace, so this is just wild.
What were you
me?
on MySpace?
Here we go again. I did not have a MySpace. I had something called a Zanga.
I've never heard of a
Never heard of Zanga? I used something called Zanga. Do you know Zang?
Are you a PC user?
No.
Okay.
No.
I've heard of Zanga.
You have heard of Zanga?
Yeah, I think.
I'm giving
that's so
such a
funny
hard
to you?
time about
She's
Zanga.
cracking up over there. But
Yeah,
PC
she's-
user? What is
Listen.
that? Is that a real slight?
I have been relentlessly made fun of
Is
for
it
using
Zynga? ZYNGA, the company that makes
Zanga.
Sanga?
Zanga.
But why are you saying with a Z? SANGA?
Listen, I don't know. I'm from Oklahoma, and that's how they said it. There,
Zanga?
I just was going off of.
I heard it only through my roommate.
Sanga?
I think Zanga. Yeah.
I think Sanga is like some I think that's like some like Amazonian herb that like makes you trip out, I think. Can someone look that up? Do we have fact checkers?
You're
here?
saying
Sanga?
Say it again.
Sanga,
Sanga?
SANGA. It's like maybe I think you snort it, and like it's like something like a shaman like blows it up your nose. Chunga.
Shanga?
Yeah. It is, right? Wow, look at that. It's Amazonian? Is it? Like DMT, there you go. I told you, there you go.
Well, maybe I was taking
Sanga.
that. Maybe I was never on a site. Maybe
maybe you were just thinking you were going
I was
to an
just
alternate
thinking.
universe.
Yeah. How does
So that's the reason why you don't have MySpace, because you were tripping on DMT?
I was tripping out, and I was just typing on a fake keyboard in my room
But
at
you're
like
really
age
just
13.
banging on a bongo.
But tracking down on MySpace, how does that work?
Well, so it's really weird actually, because the profile that he came across was one that I was like quite inactive on, that I almost had deleted just before he had spotted my MySpace, which is so weird. But he just searched female keyboardists in New York on MySpace, came across my page, and he apparently showed it to the rest of the guys and were like, oh, I like this girl's look and her thing, whatever. And then our bass player, Suarez, at the time, he was like, I knew him through my boyfriend at the time. And he was like, oh, I know her. I can get in touch with her. So he called me, and it was like, and it was so weird because like just like a week or two prior or something, maybe longer than that, I had run into him in Brooklyn with my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, oh, I'm like in this band, and we're called Cobra Starship, and we like, it's crazy. We did this like Snakes on a Plane. And I was like, I just saw Snakes on the Plane in the theater, and I remembered seeing during the credits,
Right, because the video
Cobra
played during
Starship
the
music
credits.
video,
Yeah.
and everything.
I'm ready for it. Come on, bring it. I'm ready for it.
And it was just so weird because then it came together where he's like, we're going to go on tour with Fall Out Boy, and do you want to join the band? And I was like, sure. And then,
Oh my God.
and then
just like that?
And then I was, then I hadn't touched my keyboard in years, and I then dusted it off and started learning all the songs, and Gabe and I were most in contact during that time. And I remember him calling me wasted and him being like, how tall are you? And I'm like, 5'11". He's like, you're so in the band. And I'm like, okay. And then we met up for a day when he dropped by on tour.
6 feet. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
if we have someone that's like too short, it
Yeah.
or normal height, it looks weird on stage.
Which I love, by the way. If you Google my height, it says that I'm 5'7". I'm like, well, we're going to be
Wrong.
thrown off by that I'm much taller. But anyway, and then we met up for a day while he was off tour, and then he kind of tested me And
What was the test?
Oh yeah, define the test, because that he tested you.
yeah, it was actually awesome. It was
Okay.
great. It was like, it's one of my fondest memories, and it's like,
Okay.
I have like cinematic memory of it. Like, I didn't realize I was being tested, you know, but it was
Okay.
kind of like,
Just like hang and see, like, hey,
Yeah.
is it a good hang?
he's like, let's go hang in the East Village, whatever. And it became like an all night thing where we had like a dance off at a club. We went out drinking, went out dancing. We went to
Also, that
a
was just like-
illegal poker club.
Right, that
which-
part was not so common, but it was very common for people just to go out and have drinks and go dancing in New York. That
Of
wasn't
course,
like,
but
it's not like
no, but I mean, I definitely felt like you really wanted to see that I could hang for sure.
yeah, I just want to see like, yo, we're gonna hang.
sense,
Can you
yeah.
roll? You know, like, yeah, I just want to be like, can you hang out with us? Is it like, are you gonna be a fun hang, or you know?
But it was just you and I.
yeah.
And it was so fun. We went
Yeah.
to like all these different places. It was great. But then
Very good time.
then it ended going to this like poker club, and I was like, I do not know how to play at all. He's
Yeah.
like, doesn't matter. He like hands me like $300, and I was
Doesn't
like,
matter.
trusting me with this money, I don't know how to play. And I just remember the guy had no fingers; he just had little nubs, and he was passing
Oh, that's
the
a
cards.
talent.
It was really
yeah.
cool.
So the way
I lost all of his money.
It
Good.
happens.
Between after Midtown, before Cobra Starship, I wasn't touring, and the way I survived was by playing poker. So I got to know all the underground clubs in New York.
I
it was a
wish
fun
I
time.
had the ID card.
Yeah, you have to get an ID card.
Like
You
a
have to
little
get like a
ID.
member
Wow.
card when you member card. Yeah.
I wish I
Do you still have yours?
And it might be somewhere.
Might be somewhere.
Yeah.
How good were you
I
at
might.
poker? Were you like
Me?
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. Yeah. I'm
Are you
pretty
being
good.
humble,
Every time
or are
we'd
you
go through Vegas, he'd be up until like 7 a.m. and come back into bed.
Yeah.
And usually always.
Were you like you'd get a little bit, or were you like a menace at the table? Like
I'm kind of a
you're like-
menace
Okay.
because like I show up. It depends. Like I have different strategies every time. So when I was playing before Cobras, and I was pretty young, and I was playing with like a lot of like old like gangster like dudes that just all know each other. So they would call me the sneakster because I just kind of like chilled out. I was very quiet, and then like I quietly played my hand. I would roll it and just like, you know, and I was just trying to win. Like I remember like $700 a week just to survive. Like during those times. This was 2003, 2004. It was a long time ago. But then when I started going to Vegas and we were coming and touring, I would come in super loud and wasted like after a show. And like everyone look at me and be like, oh, look at this idiot. We're going to steal all his money.
Yeah.
But I was pretending to be an idiot, and then I really knew how to play. Yeah. So one or the other. You either have to like, you know, like you need a strategy, but you also got to mix it up too, because if someone starts figuring out like what your game is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always change it up. You got to change it up. But also like,
You're always winning.
no, not always. At the end of the day, poker, the reason why poker's so great is because it's really, you know, the house, there's no advantage against the house. You're playing everybody else, and the only thing that separates me and you is just two cards. We're all playing the same cards in the middle. So it's just these two cards that are the difference, and then how you play it and how you can calculate the odds in your head. So you have to be able to think fast. You need to be able to read other people. And really, it's like a strategy game that has like a bit of risk built in. And then really just knowing how to manage that risk and play against other people.
Yeah. Was poker strictly your game, or were you
I only
being
play
the
poker.
sneakster? Were you counting cards like on blackjack or
No.
anything? No, never going like
I'm
that.
calculating odds really quick when I'm doing poker. You know, like you have to be able to calculate odds quickly to know like whether or not you should put money in, how much you should put in, because the betting is a big part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I learned a lot, and I think it really taught me a lot about just people in general. It's very interesting. The kind of characters you see in a poker, especially in those underground clubs in New York, it was wild. The characters that would be there. It was like, you know, just like from like just like degenerate doctors and lawyers to like mafia people. Derek Jeter was playing there. Like it was all sorts of characters.
I mean, I only had one day of experience of it, but it was awesome. And it's so clear in my head. And I just remember us like ending the night at like 6 or 7.
Where was it? On Houston? The place on Houston?
I think so.
The Genoa Club. Was that it? Yeah. You remember?
I don't remember
Was there like
exactly where
a
it was.
lady like in the corner making pasta?
Oh, no, I don't know if I remember that.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
That's awesome.
There's just like there's like a little kitchen, you know, but there's just like an old Italian lady that makes you pasta.
Was she the only one? Was
Yeah, just her in the, like a little
I don't
tiny little
remember that. I feel like I would remember that. That's awesome.
kitchen. Yeah.
was she on staff, or did she just do that for
No,
fun?
she's on staff. Yeah, that's just like their.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a staff. I don't know. It's like probably some guy's mom.
Do you think they're on payroll, or do you, in the underground poker
Well, the
scene?
thing that got kind of crazy is that these places started getting hit by by like the mob. There were like people would come in and be like everyone, and like just like this is a stick up, you know, like, and everyone just had to like give it all their money, and they robbed the house. But then the rumor that was started going around was that these clubs were hitting themselves. Does that make sense?
Oh,
they were robbing.
I gotcha.
Because it's like unregulated. The cops were kind of leaving it alone. But it just got a little nasty. And then it started getting in the papers, like, because A-Rod was there too. A couple of Yankee players were started going down, and then it became like a big deal. This was the Odyssey in New York City. It was the best time to be alive.
And this was all around the time you started doing this during your Midtown days.
Yes, yeah.
College days at Rutgers,
yes.
was it?
Rutgers, yeah, exactly.
Victoria, you went to film school.
University.
I went to NYU.
That's a competitive film school to get into. Have you always had a passion for like film, and just how has that carried over into your music making process? Because I saw you've even directed some Cobra Starship music videos.
Yeah, we did like the home video ones.
That was our biggest hit.
The Kiss My Sass and Guilty Pleasure
The Guilty
ones.
Pleasure home video. Was the best one.
And then just like various content when we were
You wouldn't have seen it because it was on MySpace.
but yeah, film was basically, that was kind of my everything always growing up, and still is. But I was always around music. I had a band when I was 15, and I always loved music, but film was primarily what I was focused on. So then I went to NYU Film School, and I studied film there, and I was in my 4th year when I got asked to join the band, and I was like, oh, I'll take a leave of absence, never to return.
Nice.
Victoria's like music royalty. You don't know this? Can I talk about this?
Get into it with me.
No, her dad is like a living legend. Yeah.
Well, the funniest thing was that Gabe, like, because I remember the first year that I was in the band, it was all like, oh, Victoria got in the band because of her dad. And it was like, Gabe didn't know who my dad was at all.
Yeah, I'm an immigrant, so I don't know anything about American culture before 1980.
Yeah.
So I had like no reference point. I call this my immigrant holes. So, you know, I really don't, my parents don't know anything about American pop culture. I had to like kind of, even like stuff from the 80s, I did like a lot of research to find out.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that I lived in like the 90s, you know, then it had like its reference points in the 80s, but going back beyond that, I didn't know. So I didn't know like the Beatles, for example, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where Victoria's
My
dad,
father has like a history with the Beatles, and started a couple records of the Beatles and things like that. So he was working in music forever. So it's not surprising that I ended up in music, but that was not my focus.
Didn't your dad like teach Paul McCartney French or some shit?
I think my grandmother helped Paul with Michelle, my belle.
Right.
And making sure that the French was accurate.
Oh, I love that. Okay. I got a question for both of you, primarily you, Gabe.
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to think you have a bit at this point.
A bit?
Yeah, where you deliberately come up with a different story to this question every single time.
Oh.
And so, Cobra Starship, where did the name come from, at least for today?
It's funny because I'm like, did that legit happen? Did you actually go on a spiritual quest? Because it was kind of at the time when I just remember even first joining.
Did I take you once? Didn't you come with me?
No.
No?
Oh, there was something about being...
No, I did. No, later, but that's many, many years later. I'm saying like, but actual formation of the name Cobra Starship and the idea of creating the band actually did come from that, or that was part of just the story?
No, it did come from that.
Oh, it did come from that?
Okay,
the thing is, I mean, you know, it's not as linear as when you got to tell it in an interview. In an interview, you sit down and you're just like, you have to like kind of make everything I'm answering is just like, there's so much nuance and years of history. But yeah, you know, it's like a lot of people report when they take, let's call it, what can we call it? More indigenous medicine. When they take indigenous medicine, they see that, they see a lot of visions of like a serpent, a snake, you know, the cosmic serpent. That's like a big book.
Gotcha.
So it's not uncommon to see that at all.
But to your point, there is tons of stuff where it's like, oh, because my friends and I, we called each other Cobras, and we had these old 80s jackets, and so there are a lot of different.
It's all correlated, but
Gotcha.
When you do that, you know, when you have these go on these vision quests, you kind of step outside your body, and you feel like you are interfacing with other entities, right? That's what people say, like, they feel like they're talking to aliens or in the outer space. That's what the Starship part comes from, right? And you get messages, and like the question is that just like your brain? Are you tripping? Are you really seeing like other entities? Are you seeing spirits? Is it aliens? Right? You don't know what it is, but you definitely come back with different ideas.
Have you had like band?
That was
like,
the first time I did, because I was
that was the
not
first time you
going
did
to. And then the first time was, am I allowed to be saying this?
I think so. Nate was the one, I think he forgot to drink water the whole time. And then at the end, he drank water and you just hit him at the very end.
Oh, shit.
Well, the first time I did, I didn't vomit at all. I had nothing.
Did nothing.
Except just hysterically laughing and having the best time of my life.
Yeah.
And then the second time, it was full on exorcism of hell. I saw my death. I had to walk out with Gabe. Because it was a lot.
Yeah, it's actually like a little, I'm totally dead ass right now, I'm not joking. My teacher, who's like my guide that I've worked with for almost 20 years, he recently got brain cancer, so I'm very sad about that, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So if anybody, I did a GoFundMe for him. We raised like over $50,000. He's touched a lot of people. He's changed a lot of people's lives. But if anybody wants to check that out, I think the GoFundMe is...
we'll put it in the link in the description below.
Yeah, but he's changed a lot of people's lives. He's an amazing person. 67-year-old guy. And he came from the jungle and he's just traveled the world helping people. Amazing guy.
No, I love that. Well, see, now I feel like I'm switching the moods too fast here, but don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me.
Peyton.
Oh, thank you.
I told you it was gentle with you.
Gabe, what I did find from an interview that I do know I can source correctly, you said you had the revelation music didn't have to be taken seriously. Mm-hmm. Do you think it doesn't have to be taken seriously in the creative process, in the songs themselves, or kind of an accumulation of many things?
I think what I meant more than anything is the artist doesn't have to take themselves so seriously.
You as yourself don't have to be. Okay.
You have to kind of learn to laugh at yourself. I think that if you are, because when you're making music, there's like a whole range of reasons why you would make music. A lot of the times it's because there's something you want to express and something you need to get out, and that helps people and you're helping people and you can maybe change them, save their lives. And that's can be very serious, right? But also, if you start to believe your own bullshit, and I know a lot of artists like this, and you look at them, you're just like, oh, you're so cringe. I think that's when it just becomes, you take it so seriously that it becomes a little silly. It becomes a caricature of itself. So I think my thing with Cobra is, especially in the world that we come from, I think like when you're talking about like Disney stars and stuff, like their reason for existing and making music is always just like entertainment. They want to be the best performance, do the biggest show, the most entertainment. Whereas the world we come from, it's more of like a little bit of like trying to foster some kind of real connection, right? So I think that for me, I just try to figure out a way to marry the two things where it's like, hey, we want to have real connection, but we also want to have a good time and leave feeling better.
Victoria, do you feel the same way about that?
100%. I mean, that was part of what appealed to me with joining the band in the first place. And what I loved about our whole journey was I was so thankful that we did not take ourselves too seriously, and that we were able to like play around and have fun and explore different genres and have fun on stage. And if we mess up on stage, acknowledging it and making fun of ourselves instead of like being all like, beating up on yourself for like, oh God, my art is not told the way that it's meant to be told. Like for me, that stuff is exhausting. And just even when it came to when I was at film school, I couldn't stand the kids that were like, oh, we can only go see the French film at the Angelica Theater, and they'd be horrified by me going and seeing like Bruce Almighty. Cause I think it's like, you can have the stuff that is fun and entertaining and like junk food, and then you can have the serious stuff that like you really think about and you explore in a different way, but to be able to have both is like the dream come true. And I think that Cobra Starship perfectly encapsulated that.
Yeah, and it's really a hard line to walk, because I think bands that also just like, let's just have a good time and party, whatever, and then there's like nothing there underneath, that's also kind of cringe. It like, you have to like really be able to walk a fine line, and you have to also have been an artist that had taken themselves too seriously at one point and came back from that. And I think all of us, because of where we came from and being like real punk rock when we were like 14 and then like getting into like a little bit of an indie phase and like really taking ourselves really seriously.
Do you really like that band?
Yeah,
like, if you see, you know, like being all like, oh, I don't listen to that band because they're on the radio. They're sellouts.
But you have to really, there's like a fine line where you understand that, you take it seriously, you work really hard on the art, but then you also like have fun and laugh at yourself. It's just really just about being self-deprecating, not taking yourself too seriously, working hard and doing your best and like trying to be artistic and creative and different and doing something that's unique, but also not being like, I am so unique. You know, I am an artist.
Exactly.
Behold my works, ye mortals. You know? So it's like, and that's really a fine line. And like, I think only certain kind of people, can do it. You know who I really like in comedy, and this is actually probably a good segue to Broge. Do you know those dudes, Chad and JT, Go Deep? Do you know these guys?
No.
Have you ever seen these bros that go on city council and they're like,
oh wait,
what's up city council? What's up? We want to talk about, they're like activists.
What up, council? Lately, I've been pondering America's future and thinking to your guys' side of things in government. The Senate is old as
They have this Netflix special, but they're like total, like they act like complete, like bonehead bros who are like trying to be activists and change the world. And they're like doing like protect our borders. And they mean like skateboarders, but they're like by accident aligning themselves with like the alt-right of like stop immigrants from coming in. Like, and it's hilarious. And the way they script it is so funny, but like they're kind of making fun of bro culture, simultaneously embracing bro culture. But the dude like studied philosophy in college. So it's like very deep and they talk about like Stoke as a way of finding like enlightenment. You know, it's very funny, but it doesn't take itself seriously, but it's very deep on many levels. Yeah.
By the way, I'm having like, you remember those like Magic 3D books or whatever? I'm having that with this pattern behind you. It's so weird.
Am I pointing out?
3D.
Oh, with the like blue and the.
This is what happens when you ever do psychedelics. They stay in your brain forever.
It is so weird. Sorry.
You'll do
Broge.
Exactly.
Are you putting that in there?
I put the psychedelics in Broge.
Oh my God.
I put your cream on this morning and I'm just tripping out now.
Is Broge your baby right now?
It's my baby. So I've had the name Broge for 20 years. I've owned Broge.com for over 20 years.
Okay.
And that's kind of how I operate. I'm just like a guy with a lot of crazy ideas and they all kind of simmer in the back of my head. And then sometime like a moment in time happens where I'm just like, oh, it's time for this idea. And that's kind of what happened with Broge. It also because music is so devalued, right? It's really hard for artists to make a living selling their music. So they're doing brands. But one of the things that I found curious is I saw a lot of like, I'm not going to mention any names, but I did see some artists kind of make skincare brands. And I think that when people get into skincare, it like they get all serious, or like when they do their brand, it's like all of a sudden, like I'm talking about like artists that also like have like an edgy kind of persona and artist vibe, and then like their brand is like super serious and like doesn't mess around. And I think I take the same ethos of Cobra's of just like being able to not take yourself so seriously, but still make really great work into Broge. That's kind of the same idea. It's like, you know, we want to like our point of entry to people is like the humor and the funny tone and the self-deprecating attitude.
Yeah.
But the product is actually really good. And I think it, you know, people are surprised by how good it is.
What are some examples real quick of that self-deprecating you do with like marketing?
Yeah, 100%. There's a fucking dog as our logo. Why is there a dog holding like,
yeah, I mean,
like
that's cute.
yeah.
That to me is adorable.
But this is actually very deep. This is actually symbolic of the juxtaposition of our youth kind of eroding as we're on the slow march to death, and we need to take care of ourselves.
Okay, see, I can't tell if this is a bit.
Peyton, no, it's listen.
Okay.
Life is satire.
Yeah.
For those who think.
Correct.
Tragedy for those who feel.
You're so wise.
So yeah, I think it's supposed to be, everything is supposed to be funny, but it's also supposed to make you think and supposed to like, the humor is how you get in with people. It's how you disarm people. It's like you tell a joke and you make them laugh and then they get to know what you're thinking about and then they stay. That's what comedy kind of is, right?
Yeah.
I read this great thing once that it says, in their heart of hearts, every comedian wishes he could be a rock star and every rock star wishes he could be a comedian. You know, what do rock stars complain about the most? They're like, I'm so misunderstood. It's like people are misinterpreting my lyrics. I only have 3 minutes to get my thoughts across. You know, no one really gets me, right? And a comedian gets to be up there for an hour and they make people laugh and then they stick around and people are just like captivated and listening to this person's thoughts. But the comedian wishes he could have like, be as cool as the rock star, or you know, and the rock star wishes they could be understood like the comedian. That's the point, I guess. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but
No, that makes sense though.
Yeah.
We actually have a code. You're going to see it on screen right now.
Wow.
For idobi listeners and watchers.
listeners can use code idobi to get their first month of Broge for $10. The studio address is This is all in my calendar notes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to dox the studio. We have a parking lot in Riverton. Feel free to take a spot labeled for idobi, or there's usually a fair amount of street parking. Please be cautious of the restrictions. Yeah, that's it. Listeners can use the code idobi to get their first month of Broge for only $10. If you don't like it, email me. I'll give you your money back. I kind of was developing this in secret for a long time. For like 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was the hardest part, to keep it a secret for so long. Because I just love to talk, baby.
Actually, going back to MySpace.
Don't pretend like you know anything about
I
MySpace.
know. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm curious. I want to know more. I want to know about this world I didn't get to discover because I think I was like 8 or something. Did you upload a lot of your early music to MySpace in the Cobra Starship?
Yeah, for sure.
So what's it like getting your music discovered on MySpace? Is it the like viral we know today? How does it seek out its audience and everything? Like, what's that like?
No, I don't know how the virality works. I think you have to understand the internet is just so different than it is now. Like, the only people on the internet back then were scene kids, right? And why is that? Like, if you live in your shitty little town and you're the only person that listens to this band, you're going to go on the internet to try and find 1,000 other people like the band all over the country, all over the world. And these people congregated in like chat rooms and MySpace. And MySpace was the place for just people that liked like this kind of music, right? Young people that couldn't find other people locally to talk about this music. And that's where they all got together. And that's what made MySpace. So like, it was just a part of it. Yeah.
Well, sorry, I was just going to say, and the thing that was also so cool about it was that there was no like popularity contest with putting up music. Like it was kind of just like you put things on there without caring
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
how it hits, because there was no more like how many plays, like how many.
Oh, so you didn't even know.
How much engagement? Like
I think they
there's
did
no
show the
engagement.
plays, but there was like no algorithm. This was before the algorithm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was just like purely like people really needed to talk about something. Like if something was good, people would like really tell their friends and share it. And then more people, I think you could embed the players and choose the songs and choose your top 8 and choose your favorite bands. And that's kind of how it went.
Your blog or whatever.
Yeah, but you
too.
weren't really trying to game the system because there's no algorithm to crack.
Yeah.
There was no algorithm. It was just like
Yeah.
you really had to be good.
And he got away with the girls in the back, acting like they're too hot to dance.
You collaborated with actress Leighton Meester on that music video and just on the song, not just the music video, on the song as a whole too. You were in an episode of Gossip Girl.
You were in an episode of Gossip Girl, Victoria?
Yeah.
Gabe, look at me. You were in an episode of
I
Gossip
sure
Girl.
was, yeah.
Which my mom only recently saw. And
She
she
just
was like,
discovered that?
"Oh my god, I just can't!" Because she got obsessed with Gossip Girl recently. And she saw
I love
you.
it. 20 years too late. It's never too late. Believe in your dreams, kids.
But I was going through, I never watched Gossip Girl, and I saw your IMDb. It's an episode of Gossip Girl. And I was like, what's this scene in Gossip Girl? I go, you're just
How's
like,
my IMDb doing, by the way?
oh, it's doing fantastic.
Is there anything I should do to optimize it?
You should put Lilo and Stitch, pin that as number 1 right there. And then Gossip Girl number 2.
Okay.
90210.
Love it.
Number 3.
I was on 90210?
Yeah, you don't remember
You guys as a band were on 90210.
No.
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No.
You don't get those like $2 checks that come in.
Are you not getting the royalties for 90210?
I don't-
You all are just a band at a party.
We
And
were
it's
a band at a party on 90210?
Yeah, graduation party. and we're
After
the
this,
band
I'll
that's
find the clip
performing.
for you.
It's hilarious. You got to see it. It's a really.
Do we have speaking parts or we're just playing
We're
music?
just singing. We're
Wow,
just
what song do
doing
you
the
do?
song.
what song
One
did you-
night and maybe it's just one night.
Wow, really?
It was for promotion when we were like pushing one night.
I don't remember that at all.
Is that how that happened? There was just kind of like a deal of like push a new song?
I mean, I'm assuming just management was like, oh, no.
You're talking about the height of Cobra Starship film.
Yeah.
It's like we had so much going on.
They
We
just
like
told you you're going to be here and do this.
you got to be here to do that. Like, you know, you like we had so much TV experiences. Like we're flying around everywhere. I have no idea. It was like it becomes a whirlwind at a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to go on, you know, spiritual retreats so you just reconnect with yourself.
But you being kind of like a little drug dealer guy in Gossip Girl, don't look at Victoria.
Yeah, my role. Yeah.
Was that before or after Good Girls Go Bad, or was that around the same time?
That was like
During
after. That was like a year after.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember the set was like a little weird because the show was over and like everyone was just like kind of like, okay, we're like, it was like, I think I was in the last episode of the series. It was like the series finale. So everyone was just like, it felt like a company like getting shut down, like not like a celebratory graduation. It was like the vibes on set were like a little strange. Yeah. They didn't give me like any warm ups or like, hey, all right, guys, let's do this.
Did you even get a script, or were they just like, go?
Do I have speaking lines in that, or did I just show up?
You have kind of a little. I'm forgetting what it was. You mumble something under your breath in her.
Can
Like,
you do it?
You're
Can you recreate it for us?
Let me come up with a line here real quick. But you do like sit down. You go to Blake Lively and you're just like, hey baby, how you doing? Like you do kind of do something like.
There's definitely some sort of thing like that.
There's something because you do
Oh,
start like
terrible.
kissing on her neck and
Oh,
everything. And
gross.
Like and she's like, I don't even care like who you are, or anything. You're just like, okay.
Damien sent me.
Do you have what I asked for?
Damien said you like to party. I'm Zeke, by the way.
I don't care what your name is.
And that's how they end the series.
Surely that's not the end of the series. It cannot end on Gabe
not?
Saporta making out with Blake Lively.
might.
And they're just like, that's the show.
I actually think it might.
Was it really?
We gotta look it up. I don't know. What does Gemini say?
What is?
No, I look back and I'm like, man, we were so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're
agree.
still sick.
Even things that I was upset about at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so it was a big thing when he wanted to do the neon clothes. I was very anti it.
Yeah.
My goth self was like super like, I'm not going to wear that. I was very upset. And it's like, I look back and it all makes sense. And I'm like, it was a genius choice. I was going to say, when I rewatched the 90210, it's very cheesy.
It is.
There are moments of like performances or things that we had to do that will make me cringe. But a lot of times I was cringing at the time. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, I think that Good Girls video was great.
Yeah, totally.
I thought that one came out great.
Oh, the remake of Guilty Pleasure is pretty bad.
But we're in a bad mood the whole time because we knew it was bad. We didn't want to do it. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and that became the joke of the video as well.
Right.
Which
But-
video was this for?
The remake that we did of Guilty Pleasure.
Like we made a home video that kind of went viral. And the label was literally like, okay, yeah, now we got to make the real video. The song's doing well, but we can't use this video. I'm like, why can't we use this video? This is great. Everybody loves this. Like, no, we got to do a real video. So we literally made a video about that, about the label telling us to like make an expensive video.
That's coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good. That's funny.
Is it funny?
No,
I
we
think like
at
it was
least
good for
found a
our
way to
core
make fun
fans.
of it, yeah, but the music video ultimately was.
I'm sure management hated it, but who cares? That's so good.
Hey, Mr. DJ is pretty cheesy too.
I like the Hey Mr. DJ video.
Mr. DJ, you gotta put a record on, yeah.
Steve Aoki's in that.
I know, hilarious.
I think that's cool. That just really embodied a certain time. You know, I think that was good. I'm not mad at that video.
That's okay. I look like
Which part is cheesy?
what's her name?
Jack Vanek?
Not Ted Bundy, but Ted Bundy's wife. I remember in the show,
Yeah.
I look like Peggy
Peg
Bundy.
Bundy. You look like her? No, you
Video, I
don't.
look insane.
That's funny.
I want to talk about the last decade because in 2015, the Cobra Starship journey ended for the time being. Was this a group-wide decision? Was it just mutually everybody was just like, we kind of ready to move on? I'm seeing a smirk. We don't have to talk about it, but
I'll let him answer it.
I'll let you answer it.
No.
I'll let you answer it.
100%.
I'll let you answer it. No, you can answer it.
I would never want to embarrass anybody.
I mean, so 2 of our original members were no longer touring with us. And I think, well, we had been on tour extensively. So I think all of us kind of needed an extended break regardless. But, I don't know. Things just shifted. Priorities shifted. Gabe, I feel like was planning to start a family and getting married and things like that. We had different members. That was not quite as core of a bond, I think, as previous.
I mean, that takes over your life.
Yeah.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like that's all you can think about 24/7. It's just you have to be in that world at all times.
Yeah. And we were trying to work on a new album, and it just wasn't quite coming together like other ones. And yeah, I don't know. It was weird though, because we like did have a break before we like officially broke up. And when the decision came to end Cobras, and I remember Gabe telling me in my living room and me like freaking out and then being really upset, even though like probably a year prior I was like, I need a break. But yeah, it was hard. And I think I had the like Zoolander moment right afterwards of like looking in the puddle, like, who am I? I don't know.
Because I have a lot of things to plan.
I've been associated with this project for so many years. What am I going to do next? But I think now,
I'm still trying to figure that out.
yeah, exactly. But I think like now reviving it makes it even that much more special and fun when we play shows. And I don't know. Was that even a good answer?
Oh, that was great.
It's awesome.
Because I didn't want to pry either. If it was
I think it's
personal.
pretty good encapsulation.
There was no like hateful stuff though with like
Right.
the original members or anything. Like there was nothing like evil and bad. But it was just like their priorities had shifted, and yeah, it was just.
I think also the world changed. Everything
Yeah.
changed. You know, it's like you really have to just figure out. It's so competitive, and I see this with a lot of artists that become successful. Is they're really just trying to figure out how to keep someone else from eating their lunch. You know,
Yeah.
They're trying to stay on top of the mountain, and they're trying to like they're pretending like they're helping other artists, but then they're like kicking them off at the same time, because it's very competitive, and that's why you have that, you know, Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift beef, you know. So, so it's what?
Sorry, I was
you don't know
going to
about
say
that?
though. No, but I was just going to say though, the other thing too that was so exciting during the time of like when Cobras, just even like early days of Cobras, was that it was so fun, the kind of cross pollination of like all the different bands of like we were all like fellow promoting other bands on the same label and stuff like that. There was such a different energy, and that wasn't as much of it.
That went away. Some of the bands broke up.
It's not as fun.
It got different. I think people
It felt like a family with, right? Like
it really was. Yeah, it was. And I think when that stops, it's just like a lot of things change. And I think also like people, for me, I just would rather be like, oh, that was so sick. We got to be a part of something special. Let's like leave what that was, and like let's like let it be that, and let's not try. I mean, we tried to put out one more song, and it just felt so different and so out there. I'm just like, this just doesn't feel the same. Like, I'd rather like leave a great legacy. And I think it's smart actually, because like now, you know, 10 years later, we still have like, we have more listeners than ever. We can come back and play these big festivals and have fun. And like, there's none of the pressure of like, we got to like reinvent ourselves and stay relevant. It's like, I don't really need to be relevant for all eternity. I'm just very grateful that we were very relevant in a certain cultural moment, and that's ingrained in history. That's sick. Like a lot of bands like try to do it and they made good stuff, but it gets forgotten. I think Cobra Starship for that era is like almost synonymous with a certain part of that era. And to me, it's like, that's very rewarding.
Yeah.
it's so cool to have been a part of it.
Yeah, dude.
Gabe, your IMDb's good. Yours is better. Because I was seeing, you got some, I love this because I'm an editing nerd. You have some major television credits, including Orange is the New Black, Homeland, The Mist, a personal favorite of mine. You helped create the main titles.
Yeah.
Okay, so walk me through that process.
Which I feel like kind of main titles are sadly kind of a lost art now because everyone just skips it. I mean, it is weird when you're like creating ultimately the thing that everyone's going to be fast forwarding through eventually because you don't want to watch the main title a million times, even the really epic ones. Like my favorites are like Dexter and 6 Feet Under, but like still.
What about the Mad Men main title? That's a great one.
That's a good one. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, the one that comes to mind in particular was like Orange is the New Black. Was like a totally different idea originally. It was going to be this, which I kind of love the first pitch that we did, but it was going to be this whole like imaginary thing of seeing, beautiful luxuries at home, but then you're realizing that it's the lead character, Piper, that she's imagining her previous home when the reality is that she has like sandals made out of maxi pads and is stuck in jail, etc. It was like very imaginative and out there and surreal, but ultimately the network the network turned it down, and so then it was all women that had actually been incarcerated, and
That's iconic too, though.
yeah. And meeting with them, and basically just so it was me and this guy Thomas Cobb, we directed all of them together and came up with the ideas, etc., and edited them together. And we would just ask for like three different questions that would like evoke emotion for each of those women, and then edited it that way. And we missed a shot of someone with their hands in handcuffs, so those are mine in the main title.
I didn't know that. Wait a minute. Yeah. I'm going back and watching.
It was like in the edit, it was just like, man, we need like handcuffs in here. I was like, okay, like let's just get handcuffs and like, but it was really fun creating all those main titles. Again, I think it's sadly not as much of a thing anymore, especially with like Netflix and stuff. One, it was so fun because we just had this like huge studio space that we would just like literally gather up items before pitching ideas and like test out things and send it to the studios, and it would just all be done in-house, and it was super fun.
I want to read this for you all real quick. This is from Caroline Coldplayer on Reddit. They say, I feel like not enough people are talking about what a big deal it was that Cobra reunited for this and how good their set was, talking about when we were young.
Yeah.
The fact they said Saturday was only the second time they've performed live in 10 years, and the first was just on Thursday's Sideshow, and they still sounded and looked, and for that matter, just like they did a decade ago, is crazy. They were so fun to watch. Their energy on stage was top notch, and hearing songs like Pete Wentz, Snakes on a Plane, and Kiss My Sass with Patrick Stump formed core memories for me, hoping for a full reunion tour in the future.
That's so cool. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah, but I actually do feel like our reunion was like one of the most talked about performances when we were young.
Yeah.
It was iconic.
Yeah, I feel very happy about that. We worked very hard for that. We spent like 6 months rehearsing. We basically put everything we got paid back into that show.
Yeah.
We had like a big performance on the main stage. I think that was big.
Yeah.
I was very happy with that.
It was amazing.
I was in the photo pit. You all killed it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. But you kind of went into it a little bit. What was that process like getting show ready after 10 years? Or close to 10 years.
You ever see the Rocky montage when there's just like,
yes,
is it specifically
like that?
Not really the Rocky 1. I'm talking about Rocky 4 when he's in Russia in the snow, and then like the FBI's chasing, where the KGB's chasing him down. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if I've seen Rocky 4. I'm going to
Rocky 4?
Rocky 4?
Come on. Oh. Rocky 4 when if he dies, he dies. Come on, dude.
Blonde? Was he fighting the blonde guy?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
What's
Rocky 4?
Isn't that Rocky 4? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Rocky 4. Come on, let's look it up.
You're like, don't look at me.
I mean, we can just ask Gemini.
Gemini's gonna be like, that's
Apollo Creed was Rocky 3. He dies at the top of Rocky 4. Sorry for any spoilers.
People are getting upset about Rocky 4 spoilers.
Yeah, bro, Rocky 4. This is it. Come on.
Rocky 4.
This dude, yeah. What's his name? The Russian guy. He has a crazy name. Rocky Balboa. Apollo Creed dies. Ivan Drago.
Oh, that was his name.
Or was it Ivan or Ivan? Ivan Drago. Yeah.
So getting prepped, he kills like Rocky 4.
Just like Rocky 4, yeah.
I love that.
I hope you can you're going to edit it, right?
Oh, yeah.
So bring the montage into this interview. You can do a little bit of montage. It's the Rocky 4 montage. It could, because,
Isn't that Rocky? Or is that a different one?
Oh, yeah.
There's that.
Oh, yeah. That's it.
And he's running up the stairs.
Isn't that later in the
Down.
I think I'm totally forgetting.
Well, no, the stairs is Philadelphia,
Stairs
Rocky
at the
1.
very end.
That's Rocky 1.
But then there's another one where like there's a crowd with him running up the stairs. Is that still Rocky 1 or?
And that's Rocky 2 where
That's
he's
Rocky
famous.
2,
yeah, I think. So Rocky 1. So Rocky 4
here.
It's really good because Rocky 4, he's like,
Talk about Warped Tour at some point.
I don't know. Are we going to talk about it? I feel like I'm more excited to talk about Rocky 4. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but that's what it was like.
Yeah.
Came to who?
Perfectly encapsulates.
What I mean,
Well, I had been bugging Gabe about us
like
playing
the
shows
reuniting.
for ages.
Yeah.
So I had been bugging him in general, but then when
what was that like
he
for you?
called me.
What was that like for you? Just
What?
to bug me all the time about getting back together?
Fine. At least you weren't like, it was like slowly like, I feel like each year it was like there was more warming up to the idea of it. And then there was like things like, oh yeah, I had dreams about that I performed again last night. And I was like, okay, this is like getting into Gabe's brain. It's percolating.
Yeah, doing some voodoo on me.
And then it finally happened. And Gabe called me saying like, oh, that we got asked to do one when we were young. I think it'd be great. What do you think? Well, and I like freaked out and like cried, and I was so happy. I was so excited.
I love that.
And then started the Rocky.
It was your turn for the Rocky montage.
100%.
Well, now you all got Warped Tour coming up, Long Beach. And I had to go back and fact check this several times. This is going to be your second year performing at Warped Tour?
Cobra's only one time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Because I would have been down to do it again, but you guys were very much like, no. I loved, though, being the only girl, like one of the few girls on tour. Warped Tour was amazing. I was dreading Warped Tour beforehand because I was like, oh, it's going to be so hot and dirty and awful. And I had the best time ever.
Warped Tour was a lot of fun. Warped Tour is where I ruined my voice, though. I had to get surgery after Warped Tour.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what happened?
Because they don't tell you what time you're going to play. So, I was like literally, and they have like parties every night after Warped Tour, like barbecues. So I was like up really late, and the next morning it's like, okay, you're on at 11:30 today. Like every band has to take their turn, like playing first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. And I was just like really rolled out of bed and on the stage, and I was just like not warmed up, and I just blew out my voice.
And Gabe and I would stay up super late on Warped Tour. Like, I mean, I remember times where, like, of course, like, it just happened to be that we'd like roll into bed at like 6 or 7 in the morning.
Holy shit.
And then we're told that we're playing at like 10 a.m. And it's like,
that only happened once, but
I'm just saying that was brutal. Like, I should, like, because there was no knowing.
Yeah.
there.
Was that exciting from an artist perspective to not know when you're going to be going up?
No, it fucking sucked.
No,
Okay,
it's
because
Every artist complains about it, but they do it to keep it fair, which I think is cool.
I mean, I think it is really cool. I think the reasoning behind it is really cool. But like, yes, when you're the artist performing, it sucks if you're like on for the whole thing and don't know when you're playing the next day.
Yeah. Pulling from your performance at When We Were Young last year, you had some iconic collabs from Patrick Stump and Tara Yummy coming out on stage with y'all. And I know a lot of the times you all can't talk about it, but idobi puts a gun to my head and makes me ask this question. Can we expect any collabs at Warped Tour?
Next question.
You had surgery on your vocal cords?
Yeah, that's what I said. I blew my voice out at Warped Tour, and then I had to get surgery. Sucked.
What's the recovery process of that like?
I don't know. I had to go back on tour. I wasn't allowed to recover properly.
You got surgery and then immediately went back to shouting?
Yeah. It was bad. It was bad.
Gabe.
It was bad.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Is your voice okay
Peyton,
now?
Go big or go home. I mean, does it sound okay to you?
Not sure. I think it sounds great.
It's fine. It gets,
Yeah.
there's parts of it that get swell up in like a certain range, and it cracks like when I try to go from like medium to high.
No, you have a good radio voice.
And then I got vocal surgery right before When We Were Young.
That's right.
Before When We Were Young?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I say after? Before?
No. You
Right
said
before.
before. I was just clarifying.
Yeah.
How far in advance? Like,
I think it was a month in advance.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how long the rest period is for like blowing out your vocal cords.
Supposed to be like 3 months of.
Holy
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, well, I'm back
It's
on
okay now too. Like,
Yeah.
are you feeling good?
Those is
Okay.
great.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a mess before.
Well, friends, I can't wait to see you all at Warped Tour. It's
All right.
going to be.
Are we going to be there?
Are you going to be there?
Apparently we
I
are.
hope we make it.
Do you know what Warped Tour is?
What time is it at?
Well, fun fact, you're not gonna know
Until
when
we
you're
get
going
there?
on stage,
Yeah.
which I guess is the coolest thing in the world.
So yeah, I guess we'll see if we'll make it.
Yeah.
Depends what time it is.
What?
I got a trapper keeper full of appointments.
You're a dad now, right?
That's what I'm saying.
So can you not wake up like early anymore? It's just like...
Yeah, I can. I have a lot of responsibilities, Peyton.
Oh,
you know?
no,
So
you're right. It would be the opposite. You would need to wake up earlier.
I need to wake up early. I might be in bed. Yeah, I can't stay up late. I might be in bed.
It's a
but,
bedtime
yeah.
for Gabe now.
No, I don't sleep that much. So I stay up. I wake up early and I go to sleep pretty late.
See, I'm trapped in the same. Yeah.
You have kids?
No.
Oh, okay. So what's your problem?
I'm 28. I'm still young. I'm hanging out. Not that you're old.
But what are you trapped in? What do you mean you're trapped? What are you, 28? You have no kids? What are you trapped in?
Did I say trapped?
You said trapped.
I'm not trapped in anything.
Am I tripping?
I don't know.
I have a terrible
From the
lisp,
tape.
so maybe that.
You said I'm trapped in the same problem. You didn't say that? Okay.
Oh, maybe.
Things.
I'm the editor. If I did say that, I'm cutting it out.
All right, you're going to hear it.
Easy, dude. I'm going to make you look nuts. Don't you worry.
I love that.
Idobi Warped Radio.